Hey, what is up, you guys? This is Silver Fang, and today I'm back with another video. So today we're gonna be taking a look at Oda Nobunaga. So last time when I did my Gil versus Scahab video, she was the next one up, and they call her Nobu, and I didn't know who she was. I still don't know who she is as a servant, but I definitely have heard the name Oda Nobunaga. So by the way, if you hear some noise, that's my air conditioning because it's hot out here. 4th of July is hot. So yeah, if you hear any noise, that's that. So and that in the background, as you guys already know, I just had a baby, so you're gonna be seeing a lot of that moving forward, so get used to it. So with that being said, Oda Nobunaga, so I don't know who she is as a servant. I saw her briefly in a banner that came up recently in Fate Grand Order, but aside from that, I don't know much about her, honestly. I know she fights with I saw her fight in the game. I think she fight with like guns and whatnot, but I don't remember seeing her Noble Phantasm. So yeah, but honestly, like a lot of you guys seem to like her, so she's probably cool. She's up against Gil, so you know she's got to be powerful. And with that being said, let's just jump right into the video. Oh, by the way, this video is made by Otaku Danku. You already know, like his videos are silly. Like he spends a lot of time on them, I can tell. So please go check out his channel.
The Sengoku Jidai, or Warring States period, is a time of chaotic feuding in Japan between various samurai classes started by the Onin War and presided over by the Ashikaga shogunate. In the Owari province lies the Oda clan, headed by Oda Nobuhide. Among Nobuhide's children is Oda Nobunaga, referred to in childhood as Kiposhi. Despite being a woman, she is nonetheless heir to the clan and has great expectations placed upon her. However, she takes this responsibility in her youth by tossing it to the wind. She is reckless and immature, rejecting her burden for youthful
in real life, she was
others to call her the great fool of Owari. Even
Oda
so,
Nobunaga was a man, right?
Ego
I'm pretty sure.
that wind up
But you know,
defining her
fate
life
changes
as a
sexes
samurai.
and shit.
After all, she cannot flee from obligation forever, and is confronted by a harsh reality with the death of her father. At his funeral, she is disrespectful, tossing ceremonial incense at the altar in an emotional tirade. Seeing this, Nobunaga's mentor, Hirate Masahide, performs seppuku, an act so startling as to give her a glimpse of reality. As Nobuhide's legitimate heir, she must lead her clan to victory in this tumultuous era. While Nobunaga herself has finally accepted her responsibility, it seems fair that other members of the Oda clan contest her succession. Essentially, the clan becomes divided by those who either support or reject her rule. Sadly, on the opposing end is her own younger brother, Oda Nobukatsu. Nobunaga's first mission as leader is to unify her own clan, collecting 1,000 soldiers to wage war against her dissidents. Though inexperienced, she benefits from her willingness to innovate. For instance, she is quick to take personal interest in firearms the moment they're introduced to Japan, giving her a significant edge
I told you,
in combat.
I knew she'd fight with guns.
Thus, over the following years, Nobunaga fights her opposition, killing Nobukatsu and officially succeeding the clan in 1559.
Gotcha.
With her own clan unified, Nobunaga sets out with the ambitious goal of unifying all of Japan, a complex campaign of shifting allegiance and relentless warfare. In this endeavor, she targets an ally of the Ashikaga shogunate, Imagawa Yoshimoto. During the Battle of Okehazama, Nobunaga makes up for her inferior numbers by launching a surprise attack under the cover of rain. Her forces obtain victory, as well as Imagawa's head. This shifts the tide of battle, allowing Nobunaga to form an alliance with her clan's old enemy, Matsudaira Motoyasu, as well as with Takeda Shingen.
So she was
These are strategic calls that bolster her forces.
She was not only the leader of the clan.
The Oda clan now stands as a dominant force in the era.
Also, like
Another
the general of
opportunity to gain
her
power
army.
presents itself when the head of the Saito clan, Yoshitatsu, dies of illness.
Because normally, you know, like leaders have like other generals to do.
Nobunaga exploits this,
like
converting many of the clan's followers.
She actually did the fighting herself.
Inabayama Castle. She renames this conquered land Gifu. In 1568, Nobunaga has a chance to gain access to Kyoto. Treachery brews within the Ashikaga shogunate as the
Oh, and by the
13th
way,
shogun,
I
Yoshiteru,
will
is
do
assassinated by
another video that I
conspirators
saw
aiming
on
to
her
install a puppet shogun. Yoshiteru's
by
brother,
Tasaya, because he
Yoshiaki,
actually
seeks
goes over
Nobunaga's
all her
aid in
powers,
taking
so I'm gonna
revenge.
do that
If
also.
Nobunaga can put Yoshiaki in power,
This is more like
then
the
she
lore.
can access Kyoto. Naturally, there is resistance. First, from the Rokaku clan, who refuse to acknowledge Yoshiaki. Within the year, however, Nobunaga's army succeeds in chasing the Rokaku clan from their castles and establishes Yoshiaki as the 15th shogun. This greatly boasts Nobunaga's influence, but it also provokes rival clans, such as the Asakura, who have yet to march into Kyoto. This resentment
And that
comes
was
to a
my
head in
sister
the
that
Battle
just
of
passed by,
Hanegawa,
so yeah.
with Nobunaga's forces suffering
And
greatly,
my family
until
staying
assisted
here
by
for
their ally, Matsudaira
couple days.
Motoyasu, now going by the name Tokugawa Ieyasu. Together, they defeat both the Asakura and Azai clans. Yet, in the wake of this victory, Nobunaga learns of Azai Asakura sympathizers, the warrior monks on Mount Hiei, and punishes them by raising the mountain in a sea of fire. Torching enemy strongholds becomes a signature brutality for her. As a result of the carnage, people begin to view Nobunaga as a horrific demon. Contributing to this cognition is her aim to destroy Shinto and Buddhism, viewing them both as threats to her power.
Reminds
As a
me
result,
of
anti-Nobunaga sentiment rises, embodied by the very same Takeda Shingen she'd
reminds
allied
me
with
kind
in the
of a little
past.
bit of like
When Shingen invades
Vlad.
Tokugawa territory, however, Nobunaga is unable to provide adequate aid due to being caught up in battles to the west. Fortunately, Ieyasu is able to deceive the enemy until Shingen dies of throat cancer, allowing for an easy takeover. Just as Shingen's alliance grew thin, Nobunaga's partnership with Ashikaga Yoshiaki becomes strained and increasingly hostile. In 1573, she attacks and defeats Yoshiaki, putting an end to the Ashikaga shogunate. Yet, the remaining Takeda clan still proves formidable. To defeat their enemy in the Battle of Nagashino, Nobunaga and Tokugawa Ieyasu use arquebuses, fired off in 3 rotating lines to compensate for slow reload times. Regardless of these victories, Nobunaga still faces the opposition of many clans before Japan can be considered unified. Her next targets are the monks of Ishiyama Honganji, who oppose samurai rule, and their allies, the Mori clan in the Chugoku region. Their fighting lasts until 1580, when Nobunaga forces the monks to surrender. And 2 years later, at the Battle of Tenmokuzan, the Takeda clan is completely destroyed. The Oda clan is at the peak of its strength, having conquered more land in this period than any other. Much of this is attributed to early adoption of Western inventions and tactics, giving Nobunaga a technological and economic edge. Her policies are also efficient, rewarding her subjects by merit of their achievements. Unifying Japan seems attainable, and yet it is not meant to be. Not by Nobunaga, anyway. Instead, the seeds of betrayal are sown. Nobunaga's ally, Hashiba Hideyoshi, struggles in a siege of Takamatsu Castle, a key location for the Mori clan. To assist, Nobunaga sends her leading generals as reinforcements, while she herself travels to Honnoji in Kyoto for an important tea ceremony. During this time, she is only accompanied by 30 pages and her son's cavalry of 2,000. One of her generals, Akechi Mitsuhide, takes this as a chance to betray her. Mitsuhide feigns loyalty, but reroutes his army midway and surrounds Honnoji. After some initial resistance, Nobunaga realizes her forces will be overwhelmed and consults her page Mori Ranmaru. She asks that he do everything in his power to ensure the enemy does not take her head, including setting the temple ablaze. While Mitsuhide's motive for his treachery is unclear, Nobunaga accepts the outcome as an inevitability of war. Ranmaru agrees,
yeah, so it's crazy,
watching
like,
as Nobunaga commits seppuku.
First she was rejected
As promised, the castle
by her,
ignites in a fire,
by
and
part
Nobunaga's
of her
remains are
clan.
never found. Her campaign is succeeded by her subordinate, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the husband of her niece, Cha-Cha. Despite failing to unify Japan, Oda Nobunaga is remembered as perhaps the most famous and charismatic general of her time, greatly influencing the war's outcome. Beyond just her name, she is remembered under the moniker Devil King of the Sixth Heaven for the severity of her destruction. With such fame, her recording into the Throne of Heroes is guaranteed. That said, historical fact plays only a part in the throne's records, and is accounted for among all aspects a hero is remembered for. Thus, between various worlds and perspectives, there exist many forms of Oda Nobunaga. Regardless, after accepting her death, Nobunaga has no special yearning for the Holy Grail, but is nonetheless intrigued by its potential. As a result, when she is summoned as a servant, her ambitious nature remains intact. Due to her prominent use of firearms, she is typically summoned as an archer. Her campaign against Shinto and Buddhism results in an advantage over servants connected to divinity. In consequence, however, she is far less effective against heroes without mystery, such as modern heroes. She has two noble phantasms, the first being 3,000 Worlds, three-line formation, embodying the rotating gun volley famously used in the Battle of Nagashino. Through it, she unleashes a volley from 3,000 arquebuses. Her brutality results in another noble phantasm, Papias, the demon king of the sixth heaven, a reality marble where the world around her materializes as a scorching hell, embodying the fear and reverence surrounding her campaign. Nobunaga is first summoned to a rather peculiar world, ultimately gaining access to the Holy Grail through fighting various servants, the most prominent being the Shinsengumi warrior, Okita Soji. With the Grail in her hands, Nobunaga attempts to use it in the creation of a dangerous bomb. Bizarrely enough, her experiment fails when she accidentally falls into the Grail, causing a singularity to emerge, temporarily connecting her world to one facing the devastating incineration of humanity. Needless to say, this anomaly interrupts both worlds. In the other, the Chaldea Security Organization aims to preserve humanity by resolving various singularities that emerge throughout history, and this unexpected singularity created by Nobunaga is likely the most obscure. When the singularity collides with Chaldea, it gives birth to confusing creatures known as the Mini-Nobu, who bear a strange resemblance to Nobunaga as a projection of her subconscious.
So those are real things?
In order to clean up the mess, Nobunaga and Okita leave their world to contact Chaldea and exterminate the Nobus. There, they meet Chaldea's master, Ritsuka Fujimaru, and their servant, Mashu Kyrielite. Together they ray-shift into the singularity, where the encounter and battle brainwashed Chaldean servants reflecting Nobunaga's subconscious. Ultimately, an imposter Nobunaga appears, and upon defeating her, the singularity collapses. As thanks for the assistance, Okita and Nobunaga offer their skills to Chaldea in the fight against incineration. As such, the two serve Ritsuka in battle against the demon god Hivemind Getia, the active agent behind humanity's downfall. While they succeed, defeating Getia and collapsing Solomon's Temple of Time, one of the demon gods, Andras, flees to a singularity set at the onset of the Meiji Restoration, and seeks aid from heroic spirits who regret how they died. Without fusing with the heroic spirit, the demon god will die. Andras' image of humanity most resonates with the spirit of Oda Nobukatsu, but the two of them cannot merge, as Nobukatsu isn't a true heroic spirit. Thus, to serve as an anchor, Andras summons Nobunaga's niece, Cha-Cha, who had died consumed in flames during the burning of Osaka Castle.
That name is funny as hell.
Before Andras can possess her, Cha-Cha flees, managing to escape the singularity. Nobukatsu is tasked with recapturing Cha-Cha, and prepares for her return by pretending to be his sister Nobunaga and overthrowing the Tokugawa shogunate. This new Oda shogunate fights against the servant Hijikata Toshizo and the Shinsengumi. Meanwhile, Cha-Cha's escape leads her to Chaldea, where she befriends Ritsuka. Strangely, however, she is followed by Mini-Nobus, and Chaldea's expert, Leonardo da Vinci, discovers the existence of what she calls Gouda particles, which attract the Nobus and adversely affect servants. These particles are thought to have played a part in Nobunaga's first silly singularity, prompting Ritsuka and company to assist Cha-Cha with this new one. Here, Nobukatsu and Hijikata weaponize the Mini-Nobus in their fight for dominance, and Ritsuka joins in the chaos in an attempt to resolve it. The Shinsengumi feud with the Oda shogunate until Cha-Cha is captured by Nobukatsu and taken to a golden castle, the Sun Fortress. As desired, Andras pretends to be the great gold demon Taiko, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and possesses Cha-Cha as a vessel to stave off death. Nobukatsu believes that Andras can bring about immortality within the singularity, and tries to convince Nobunaga to cooperate so they can eternally relive their pleasant childhood without the burden of the Oda name. Yet, Nobunaga is not one to regret the past.
There's a lot of info,
She rejects the offer and brings Cha-Cha to her senses. Together, Ritsuka, Nobunaga, and Cha-Cha fight, successfully defeating Andras, and by extension Nobukatsu. After the singularity collapses, Cha-Cha joins Chaldea's roster as another hero for the human order. Yet, Nobunaga's legacy continues to toy with Chaldea. Akechi Mitsuhide, the man who betrayed Nobunaga in life, seeks to redeem himself as a heroic spirit by creating a true and perfect Nobunaga. With fragments of the Holy Grail, Akechi transforms Tokyo into a singularity and uses it as the battleground for a Holy Grail war conducted by many masterless servants. These servants fight for territory, earning mana in proportion to the size of their dominion. But in truth, Akechi's territory is the entire battlefield, allowing him to absorb all defeated heroic spirits. He plans to use these servants to create a saint graph of higher purity for Nobunaga, and yet, when he summons her as a base level, she rejects his ambition. She cuts off her saint graph, leaving Akechi with her body. By the time Chaldea intervenes, the Grail has repeated itself many times, such that Akechi's ideal Nobunaga is nearly complete. Despite this, Ritsuka fights alongside the Singularity's counter-guardians, including Okita Alter, to conquer the territories and destroy the Grail fragments. During an epic confrontation, Nobunaga manages to get her body back, and in desperation, Akechi attempts to use himself as the base for his true Nobunaga, transforming into a horrific monstrosity. Ritsuka's party holds him off, giving Okita Alter the chance to slay him in a space called the Sky of Nothingness. Chaldea faces many trials and tribulations with the help of its many servants, enduring both singularities and lost belts. While it seems like all of the outrageous Nobunaga anomalies have come to an end, they practically all collide into a single incident. The mysterious Mystic Code, Logos React Generic, runs simulations of history, and occasionally these simulations encounter errors and manifest as singularities, encroaching upon reality. One of these simulations tests the Warring States period with the goal of unifying Japan. However, a Grail becomes part of the simulation, leading a High Priest, Makuzu, to obtain it. With it, he summons an interesting servant, Maxwell's Demon. Physicist James Clerk Maxwell once conceived of a thought experiment that would allow one to violate the second law of thermodynamics. While modern science has since debunked the idea, in his time, people still look to this as a means of creating infinite energy, and the character of this demon is recorded as a heroic spirit through these collective desires. Makuzu places Maxwell's noble phantasm in a mana reactor beneath Honoji, and intends to use it to generate infinite mana, rewriting reality to bring salvation to humanity in the form of the paradise Sukfati. Sadly, such ambitions are beyond reach. The reactor itself requires mana to run, and so children are sacrificed to it on a monthly basis. Furthermore, Logos React cannot contain the infinite nature of Maxwell's demon,
now he's sacrificing
causing the simulation to
children for
develop
mana,
into a singularity that Chaldea winds up investigating. Within this singularity, various forms of Nobunaga emerge, such as her child form, Kaiser Nobunaga, a giant Nobu, and even a male variant. Each Nobunaga takes over a part of Japan, and fortunately, Ritsuka makes contact with the one from Chaldea early on. After turning this Nobunaga back to normal, Ritsuka forms the Chaldea clan as its leader, planning to confront the other Nobunagas. One after another, the Chaldea clan fights the Nobunagas, either defeating or recruiting them in an effort to unify the country. During their campaign,
so many nobles,
Ritsuka encounters Maxwell's demon.
It's hard to keep track.
Claims that there's another Nobunaga, an Avenger, fully embodying the Demon King of the Sixth
Another
Heaven,
one?
an amalgamation of all the other Nobunagas. Maxwell asks that Chaldea cooperate so they can defeat the Demon King before she destroys all of Japan. The Chaldea clan agrees and makes their way to the Demon King's throne. After a hard-earned victory, however, they discover that the Demon King was playing the villain, specifically to prevent the paradise of Sukfati from arriving. In defeat, the Demon King vanishes in a brilliant flame, and Archer Nobunaga mysteriously takes the Demon King's appearance. While thrilled to have a fuller bust, Nobunaga wonders why she has this new form. Akechi Mitsuhide, who has been assisting the Demon King, explains that Maxwell's master, Makuzu, is the true villain. To confirm this, the Chaldea clan heads to Honoji, witnessing Maxwell's followers, the Faith of Max, and their temple. When the clan questions Makuzu's religion, his obsession with Maxwell as a god, he responds by having Maxwell subdue and imprison them. Out of sight of his master, however, Maxwell frees the Chaldea clan and asks them to eradicate him. He shows Chaldea the poor children who are sacrificed to the mana reactor. Whatever good intentions Makuzu may have started with are gone, as he is allowing children to die for his power. Thus, the Chaldea clan opposes him, arguing that no salvation is worthwhile if it comes at the expense of innocent children, and conflict ensues.
Facts, bro.
The reactor begins to create black giants, with Makuzu declaring the largest to be the true potential of Maxwell's demon. Maxwell feared this would happen, and intentionally fed power to the Demon King Nobunaga as a means of retaliation. He wants the Demon King to defeat him and foil Makuzu's wretched scheme. Truly, Avenger Nobunaga's abilities are prominent. As the Demon King, she gains new weapons, including an arquebus, the Demon King Gatling gun. Her noble phantasm is Papias Metamorphosis, Demon King of 1,000 Worlds, an unstable attack that opposes gods, with Nobunaga as a true demon, transcending both fear
their
and
names
reverence.
Is like
As such, the Chaldea
literally
clan teams
taking
up
life
to
from
vanquish
Zoro.
Maxwell, with Okita destroying his core. This causes Makuzu to be deleted as a simulation error. While victorious on this front, the singularity
You got
cannot
the
resolve
3,000
unless
worlds.
Nobunaga dies along with it.
Then you
Thus,
got the
she accepts her fate, allowing herself to be
then the
consumed
last
by
one, the
flames, much
10,000
like her death
worlds.
in reality. Thankfully, this in no way prevents her from being summoned by Chaldea. Instead, the chaotic singularities revolving around Nobunaga only make her stronger, and she ultimately channels her warmongering nature into protecting humanity as Ritsuka's servant.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this channel,
Alright,
help
so I'm
me
gonna
beat
stop it
the
right here.
algorithm by like.
So it's crazy, right? So her lore, like her story, is long as hell. And then her involvement in the fake Grand Order is also mad long. So it's crazy, right? So like it's a lot of info. So she had like four separate, like she was involved in four separate singularities. So like there's a lot of stuff to cover. So I'm not gonna talk too much here about her skills, because like that's probably what I'm gonna do in the next video, which is the servant profile from Tasaya. So I don't want to talk too much about her skills here, but like her life was like crazy. Like first of all, she didn't want to be the leader. That was number one. So that became a whole ordeal on its own. Then when she was forced, well, when her father died, and now she had no choice but to take the leadership, she kind of acted out, kind of like an angry teen or something. Like she basically threw a tantrum in her father's funeral, which caused her master to commit seppuku, which in my opinion, just a little, like, it's going a little overboard, you know? Like, you're gonna commit seppuku? Like, not only has she lost her father, but now her master as well. But whatever. Dude committed seppuku. Now it was kind of to teach her a lesson, but like Japanese culture is crazy. Like respect is like their most important thing. Like respect and pride and honor, bro. Like that's like their most important thing to them. Like they'll die for their honor, they'll die for pride. Like it's crazy. Like you see it in anime all the time. Like especially with characters like Vegeta, Zoro, even like Luffy. Like Luffy, like he's goofy and whatnot, but Luffy will die for his honor and his friends and shit. So like you got Zoro, you got Vegeta, you got Luffy, you got a whole, like you see it in anime all the time. And like in Japanese culture, it's true. I don't know if it's true the same way it used to be, like till this day. Like if it's still like that way, I mean it's probably a little bit more lenient. But back then, like in those like feudal periods, man, like people will commit seppuku for like anything and everything. So that's crazy. Also, after like she got betrayed by her general, which also became a heroic spirit, and then also became a part of, you know, the last singularity that they mentioned, which was crazy. And also one thing I want to mention though, like those little Nobus, bro, like they're funny as hell. Like I saw them in the game, and oh my god, bro, those Nobus are hilarious. I mean, I guess they're like, me personally, I would like to see uh how they do it if that singularity is animated. Like, will we really see like a whole bunch of, because it's good for a video game setting, but I wonder how they'll do it for like an anime version of that singularity. Will they have like all those little Nobus running around like that? That'll be hilarious. Oh, sorry. And then the different versions of Nobu, bro. Like there's an Archer one. Then there's all the others that were created. Like, there's so much to cover. But one thing is for sure, like they all fight with guns. They like guns, rifles, machine guns, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure machine guns weren't a thing back then. But you know, it is what it is. Uh, so yeah, all types of firearms. Also, I did say that I wasn't gonna talk too much about the skills, but I kind of have to, like, just because, like, I'm just gonna mention them briefly, which is like, uh, her reality marble, which is like which burns everything, which is insane. Uh, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like when Yamamoto from Bleach activates his Sanpakto, like everything turns to ash. Uh, that is also cool. I wonder though why they say she can beat Gil. Um, I'm gonna save that discussion for the actual video, but I'm probably gonna see more because he mentioned like he mentions like her attacks and whatnot, but like to Saya he's gonna mention like her actual skills as a servant, like her abilities and whatnot. So that's gonna be interesting to see. He also explains a lot of like how their like the noble phantasm work, so that's gonna be fun. So stay tuned for that. That's coming probably, I won't say tomorrow, probably Monday. So Monday, Tuesday the latest. But yeah, so with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Her life was pretty damn crazy, man. Like, it was insane. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And as I always say, have a nice day. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like button. And as I always say, catch you guys in the next one.